You're about to learn 3 magical points for fixing the knee. These can reduce knee pain and restore function to the leg, ankle and foot. In 10 years of healing practice, I've seen these points do amazing things, and not just for legs. But first, I want to share a personal experience. In the mid-2000s, I began experiencing knee issues. At the base of my right knee, it felt unstable, and when leaning on it, there was pronounced pain. I think it may have had something to do with the sheer amount of walking I did. I would race upstairs to get to work on time, then I would race down those stairs to get wherever I had to be afterwards, often with a guitar or laptop strapped to me. I was always racing somewhere, and it felt like the rubber was beginning to hit the road exactly in my knees. I learned to live with the issue, but my knee niggle concerned me. Now, at around this time, I was doing a lot of self-development work, and this brought me face to face with one of the UK's favourite healers, the late great Stephen Russell, also known as the Barefoot Doctor. As far as characters go, you don't get much more colourful or entertaining than Stephen. On my first encounter with him, I asked him about my knee. Now, I don't know what I was expecting. What I wasn't expecting was for him to kneel down and jam his finger firmly into the muscle next to my shin bone. However, when he stood up and asked me to test my full weight on the leg, remarkably, there was very little pain, and I didn't feel pain for quite some time after that. Years later, I found myself studying acupuncture and rediscovered this point. It's actually one of the most famous points in acupuncture, not just for its ability to restore strength to the leg, but for a whole range of internal and muscular issues. So, if you or someone close to you has knee issues, you really want to know about this. The point is called Zhou San Li. Zhou meaning leg, San meaning 3, and Li meaning miles. Leg 3 miles. As in, when you need to walk or run an extra 3 miles, stimulate this point. It's 1 hand's width below the base of the knee in the depression that sits about a centimetre out from the outside edge of the tibial bone. By sliding your finger around this area, you will encounter a small dip which aches when pressed on. This point rests on the powerful tibialis anterior muscle which powers our stride and influences the motion of our knee, leg, ankle and foot. Press into this point now and become aware of any sensations you feel with a sense of appreciation. And as you do, let's consider a scientific publication that came to light recently. In Poland, researchers at the University of Physical Education wanted to test Zhou San Li for its ability to strengthen the explosive pushing off force of the legs. This point has been used for decades to increase the performance of athletes across a range of sports, and so a test was devised whereby the leaping abilities of athletic volunteers were tested both before the point was stimulated and then afterwards. This sham-controlled test revealed that athletes could jump both higher and faster after having the Zhou San Li point stimulated. I find this particularly interesting, as I remember an elderly gentleman in his 80s coming to see me for what he called leg weakness. His legs had started completely giving out on him as he walked, and he never knew when this was going to happen. He could be standing there 1 minute and find himself suddenly lying on the floor the next. When he came in for his first consultation with me, he looked me straight in the eye and asked, "How long you think I got?" His falling over had undermined his confidence in life, and he actually thought he was on the way out. This man had 2 sessions with me, whereby we stimulated his Zhou San Li, Yin Ling Chun and Yang Ling Chun points. He didn't turn up for his 3rd session, and I wondered what had happened to him. The next week, unexpectedly, he knocked on my clinic door. He said this, "I don't need your services anymore." And when I asked him why not, then and there, he leaped with all his might up and down on his legs 4 or 5 times rapidly. I was stunned. Now back to that knee. The 2 other points I spoke of are called Yin Ling Chun and Yang Ling Chun. Together, they influence the yin and yang of our physicality and have a strong local effect on the knee. Find Yang Ling Chun an inch or so below the bump of the head of the fibula in a small depression between the fibula and tibia bones. There are 2 prominent bumps beside and below the knee. You want to be below the second and further back of these. Press into it now. Whilst pressing there, with your other hand, find the point exactly opposite and perpendicular on the other side of the knee, as though travelling from the North Pole to the South Pole. You will find a very sensitive area to press into there, the Yin Ling Chun point, which has a strong influence on the sinews of the inside leg. And what you can do now that you've got these points aligned is to feel around the leg by pushing fingers towards each other into different areas to find the spot-on place to push. You'll know when you've got it. Press firmly into both points, and as you do, introduce a small circular clockwise motion. Do 20 of those, and when you've done them, do 20 in an anti-clockwise motion. So, I leave that with you. Stimulate these points regularly and see how your knees and legs respond. Also, don't be surprised if your digestive system improves, as studies point towards the ability of these points to improve digestive function via way of vagal nerve stimulation. And to learn how that works, watch this video here. It'll teach you everything you need to know to stimulate your vagus nerve, improve your digestion, boost your immune system, and even brighten your mood.